So many of you know each week Music Mondays kind of has these discussion segments where we talk about tips and tricks, you know, underground kind of politics and things you should or shouldn't do, whether they be larger, kind of smaller topics, things like that. So this week we'll be talking about when you should charge for features as a new artist. So, many of the established artists and many of the kind of solo independent artists that already have their own following and have their own success kind of pave their own way and they kind of know what they're doing, right? They kind of have everything on lock. They kind of work how they work and they do business how they do business. And I think that's fine. This video is definitely not for anybody who's already established and kind of has their own way of doing things. This is for kind of the newer artists, the ones that are, have only been making music for 1 or 2 years. You're a new producer, you're a new artist, you're a new kind of musician on the scene, right? And you're trying to promote yourself and you're like, oh shit, like how do I get features, this, that, and the third? Should I charge for features? Well, that's what we're going to talk about here today. When should you charge for features as a brand new artist? And I guess by extension, a brand new producer as well, right? Because you'll see a lot of producers kind of, they'll like want to charge for instrumentals like right off the rip, and it's a whole big thing. So, let's talk. So when it comes down to charging money, right, and kind of charging for features, I know that the idea of it definitely seems fruitful at first, but in reality, especially if you're a new artist, like everything I'm about to say is geared towards a new artist. If you're kind of an established artist, this isn't for you. But if you're kind of a newer person on the scene and you're kind of new to like internet culture and communities and things like that, um when it comes to charging for features, I, to put it bluntly, wouldn't. I wouldn't charge for a feature, to be honest with you, because early on, in your kind of journey as a musician and in your career, if you want to go like super serious, um, networking and kind of collaborating is way more important right now for you as an artist than kind of making like 20 bucks on the side, because music isn't going to make you money for quite some time, right? Like, I don't really care who you are. Most people don't really see any kind of money in music for quite some time, right? You really have to hammer down and really prove yourself. So early on, I definitely would just ditch that idea, like off rip. You could definitely make a couple bucks off like streaming and shit, but nothing that's like gonna pay the bills. So when it comes to really charging for a verse or charging for a beat, and you have like 100 followers, you're brand new, you're just posting your music, you have like 2 or 3 songs out, absolutely not. Definitely don't charge for features, because obviously people are going to look at you like you're crazy, but you don't want to pass up potential networking and collaboration opportunities. I think that's more important than making money, and it's definitely more important than making yourself kind of look thirsty to make money, right? So it's kind of a win-win if you just kind of focus on the collaboration aspect of things. And especially if you're a producer, right? Like, you don't want to be making 10, 20 bucks off just one instrumental. Like, you want to find artists that actually want to hop on your instrumentals. You want to find artists to actually make fucking songs with. You want to find people that are new as well. So you guys are kind of like on the same level. And same thing for artists. Like, you want to find producers that are just willing to work and they're just looking to get their name out there rather than try to make a quick buck off of things. And like, it's like not really about like working for free. It's more so about like working for the right opportunities. Because like, you can work for free as long as you're not like being abused and like taken advantage of. Like, I think a lot of people associate working for free with being taken advantage of. Like, if you have good opportunities in front of you but you're not going to get paid and you feel like it's good for you, take that shit. absolutely take that shit. Internships, all of it. Because, bro, not everything is about money. Especially in like these kinds of communities where like your name is worth more than like a lot of your product early on. I definitely think that like you should be taking opportunities with caution, but as long as you're keeping yourself safe and you're just kind of like, okay, like this is a good opportunity for me. This person wants to work, no money involved. Let's just do it for the art. I think there needs to be way more of that, and especially for the newer guys. I think the newer guys kind of get that fucked up as to where it's like, oh, you should never like work for free, and if you're good at something, never do it for free, and free, 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 free. It's a very kind of like weird mindset for some people, but some people also get it though. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of people that work very fucking hard and really like go above and beyond to like prove themselves and then become like a trustworthy person to do business with, right? Like there are artists out there that do great off selling features, but it's not because they started off selling features, you know what I mean? Like they have their own hits, they have their own connections, they have their own platform, right? So you kind of have to build up to that. It's not really like a overnight process. It's very much a slow burn. And like yeah, sure, you're gonna have these like one-off cases of people going viral and things like that, but for the most part, you're gonna have to work towards that. You know what I mean? Just because going viral like that is pretty rare, but two, it's like a lot of those people aren't prepared with content anyways because it's so unexpected. So, say you did go viral, you want to be prepared for it. You want to be ready. You know what I mean? So that's why you should always like work with the like mentality of like you just shouldn't count on that, and you shouldn't count on like banking on like how good you are so early on. I think that's a very like dangerous thing to do, and I would bank on your network. I would bank on trying to get in with your crowd, right? And sometimes it might not happen immediately. You know, like getting in with your crowd isn't exactly like as easy as it seems, right? Sometimes it takes a while as to where you'll be chilling with a crew where you're like, okay, this is kind of sick, but like this isn't like my people. And then you'll kind of find another crew and you'll feel like at home, and you'll kind of be like, okay, like this is where I can like build up my kind of self realistically. So that's why that kind of matters. And like I wouldn't want to like taint any of those like potential relationships just trying to make like $40. You know what I mean? Because like realistically, like we're not talking like $1,000 here. You know what I mean? Like anybody selling shit early on is not making any more than $100. You know what I mean? So it's like the relationship is worth more than that in the long term when you could crank out 5 or 6 songs with a person, as opposed to like trying to like put up this like paywall in front of it that doesn't really like help anybody. You know what I mean? Because like you're gonna need like to sell 10 beats at that price to even make a dent, and you're gonna need to sell 10 features at that price to even make a dent. So it's like, do you want more songs out, or do you care about like chump change? Realistically, it's just fucking bullshit. So kind of a blunt answer, but also kind of the truth, you know what I mean? Because a lot of the established people kind of have their way of doing things and their business kind of set up in a certain way. So again, a lot of that information isn't really for anybody that's already established. It's for more so the new guys, the new people that are like, okay, like how the fuck should I go about this? And you shouldn't. You know what I mean? Like plain and simple, like you shouldn't. You should be worrying about networking with people. You should be worrying about getting beats to artists that'll actually get on your shit. You should worry about sending out opens to people that actually will finish them. You know what I mean? It takes some time, but I wouldn't worry so much about that right now, because a lot of that stuff comes later on. I would worry about building your library and building a network and a team of people that you can go to for, you know, a collab, a feature, send beats to without having a paywall and things like that. You know, it's very important to do that early on, because you can kind of like get your name out to a lot of other groups of audiences that you wouldn't normally, because you could kind of like put out like 50 songs in a year and you wouldn't really like sometimes it just won't do anything. But once you like have those 50 songs and then you collab with Joe Schmo and it's a fucking banger, Joe Schmo's audience is like, oh shit, who's this other guy? And then they see that you have this massive library of music and they find out about you and da 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 da. The ball just kind of rolls. So that's why it kind of matters more than making 20, $40. You know what I mean? Like, if you're in this for the long haul, you know what I mean? But if you're just like hustling and trying to treat music like that, then that's this video definitely isn't for you. But yeah, that would be my advice. Kind of worry about your network and your collabs right now, especially early on within like your first like 2 to 3 years. Definitely.